dig the lead out of the grave and give it CPR. Welcome to Simplified Sparky Marketing. Coming to you live from a milking parlour in Ireland. It's actually a bit of a sunny day. Isn't too bad. I've got a tractor on my site. I might add that to my Instagram stories. You might get a glimpse of that tractor. Well, let's get into today's podcast, and that is going to be something that appeared in my inbox today that I thought it's a useful belief shift for you to get instilled into your head, and that is leads. When do they die? When is a lead finally dead? I had an inquiry come into my inbox today from a gentleman that reached out to me about 4 months ago, and there was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of questions, options, changes with the quotes and stuff like that. I think I gave him 3 options in the end, which I always stress to do. And he has finally come back. As he put it himself, he's waited the winter to decide on ceiling fans. Essentially was the job. So there's a number of ceiling fans to go in. There's going to be a switchboard and some other bits and pieces done as well. And his email basically stated an apology for not getting back. I just marked the job as unsuccessful on site and service, mate. And just took it that job was basically the ship at sail with us. Quite frustrating because we've been back and forth continuously, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. And look, some people are different, some people are odd. They have got their own ways of dealing with conversations and stuff like that. But this guy just, literally mic dropped and didn't get back to me. However, in my emails this morning, he has sent through, a request to amend it if the quote or pricing has changed or whatever. So we're going to have a look at that, double check everything, and then send it back across. But he's essentially saying that he's going to go ahead with the top dog option, which is a switchboard and some ceiling fans and bits and pieces. So it's a really good job to get. So I'm glad he did come back. But it just got me thinking into regards of when a job is dead or how many times you do follow up the job. Now, something that I stress with my members inside the mentorship is to have an automated system in place that does the heavy lifting for you. And I was just speaking to a gentleman as well recently, and he doesn't have any automations in there. So he just sends the quote and just hopes they get back. And that's a really shit system to have in place, because if you don't persist and follow up without being a pest, and like something I stress about as well is like, if somebody wants a quote, I want an answer, like regardless of, if it's going to be a little job or a big job, I want to know if it's a yes or if it's a no. Love to get feedback if it is a no of why they didn't go ahead. So it's always very important to actually have that in place and have your system to probe that lead to get a yes or a no is vitally important. But with this gentleman, as I said, it was going back months, and I took it that job was actually gone. However, he did follow up, and that has now got me thinking in regards to building a system around this. If someone does completely point blank, to have a little system in place that we can trigger inside and service, mate, that in a few months we can just do a really quick follow up again. If they just mic drop for whatever reason, because you don't know people's situations. I had a really strange job like this as well over a year ago, and I never met the guy, and just did a switchboard upgrade and semi relocation in Newtown. It was a bizarre situation. So we dealt over email, and when I was actually doing the job, I never seen him, and just rocked up to the job. So the house itself was gutted. There was nobody in the house. There was nobody. He just bought it and he literally gutted the whole thing out. But the switchboard was an absolute mess. So ripped that off the wall and installed a new B&R meter box and all the goods, new earth electrodes, new mains, the whole works really with that one. It was completed in a day or two, and we had to wait on a meter and stuff like that. Got that all sorted, but once the invoice was sent, the final invoice, I didn't hear from him for ages. And like that as well, he was super responsive, but just went point blank. I didn't hear anything for about 2 or 3 months. So tried to call, it went absolutely blank. I've sent numerous emails, messages and stuff like that, and just couldn't get a hold of him. And the annoying thing was, because in theory, you're like, right, I'm just going to go to his house to find him. But his house, I didn't know where he lived because this was a new house. So that was my dilemma. It was just an absolute head fuck. And I took it he had died. I literally was speaking to people. I was like, I genuinely think he is dead. There is no response from his phone. His phone was just dead blank. It's just nothing was happening. And I drove past the job a few times, which is really pissing off because it was just an inconvenience. But I just wanted to see, was there any bit of life in the house that I could catch him there? But there wasn't. It was just like a ghost town for months. And he had, I believe, a death in the family. everything went in the back burner for him. He just didn't fucking care, which I totally understand. It was a very bizarre situation, but it literally took 3 or 4 months, and he finally sent me back an email apologizing and like saying, I've sent the payment now. I'm really sorry for any inconvenience. I never got to the bottom of what actually happened. And look, I didn't want to dig, but at the end of the day, I got paid. So that was the main thing. But it's just, there are some weird situations that happen like that in business. And I've had 1 or 2 of them this year as well. And I think it's kind of like, you don't know what's going on in your either prospect or client's life. There could be something very bad going on in the background and you just never know. So before you fly off the handle and get extremely angry, I would approach the situation with caution, presuming there's something wrong within the family or something like that. You just never know. And yeah, so it's just a bit of a lesson there as well. It just goes to show, it's just when you think the game is over and you've lost the lead, there's always a glimmer of hope, particularly if someone doesn't give you a no. There's always a little bit of hope they can actually come back around. A lot of people's reaction would generally be, if I didn't hear back within a week or 2 when they're sending out quotes, the job is gone. But it's not like that. People get busy. People have got kids running amok around the place. They've got other shit to sort out. They've their own jobs and careers to worry about. Sometimes it just does take a backseat. I just want to reiterate the importance of having systems within your business, that you do actually follow up with the leads when you do send a quote. And now hopefully this has inspired some of you to have a look and think, shit, maybe that's a good idea that I can actually implement this system into my business, that within 3 months' time, you just do a little follow-up. It might be actually a task you set for your virtual assistant. It might be a little reminder that you set for them within your job management software that says, this job we just didn't hear back, close the job, but follow up in 3 months. That's what it's all about, is just to really get you thinking into how you can improve your business. If you want any links, we've got my 9 ways in 9 days to improve your electrical business. Little micro series, and it is in the description below. And I will chat to you again on Friday. We've got a double podcast this week because I'm feeling good.